What is something unrealistic that you often see in movies that annoys the hell out of you? Guns with infinite ammo. Heroes never reloading their weapons. Immediate DNA results. The inaccuracies about how the hero jumps from a great height and is unharmed, how they escape out of hospitals or treat their wound themselves. It's impossible, literally FFS. Somebody writing flawless code in 60 seconds. Everything ending well. It doesn't annoy me like crazy, though. I'm just not happy when there are terrible decisions that yield no negative consequence. How defibrillators are used to restart a person's heart. They don't, they only help to re-establish a regular heartbeat. When some stranger comforts or distracts a kid from something horrible with some bullshit. The kid just saw their mom get eaten by a werewolf. A toy train and the hero hugging them does nothing. I also hate how most kids act like drugged up placid morons. I need information from this computer. Tech guy runs over and starts hammering wildly on the keyboard. I'm in. The keyboard is plugged into a Xbox, and the OS is Windows 2000. Gunshot to the leg and they can still walk. One to the lungs and they're breathing fine. One in the heart and they either die instantly or spend a whole minute talking. It is 10 to 20 seconds, not 6 minutes. In a horror movie, everyone acts insanely stupid. No one ever believes each other. They go outside to investigate a loud noise when there's been a string of murders, etc. All CPR scenes. It is not realistic at all. Bad guy receives a mortal wound like a point-blank gunshot to the torso or deep knife wound and just lays there bleeding profusely for a minute with the protagonist immediately forgetting about them, then is able to somehow stand up and have like an 8-round boxing match with the protagonist before finally being finished off. Living in big houses, apps, while working has a server. Blows to the head knocking someone out for exactly as long as is convenient for the plot with no long-term consequences whatsoever. Even otherwise realistic shows and movies are guilty of this. In reality, and blow to the head strong enough to knock you out is likely to cause brain damage or even death. The beatings people take and how quickly they get up from devastating blows. Silencers do not mute the gun. It only makes the sound more tolerable. Fighters wearing heels, especially if it's the majority of them. It's not that you can't learn to run in him. It's just it seems pointless to wear something while fighting that not only works against you, it causes long-term damage to your heel while actively moving, and a medic also rip their feet for any stunt people that couldn't use normal shoes for those scenes. Empty cups and cans and suitcases. For crying out loud, just put some water in that Starbucks cup. Give our brains a little help ignoring the glaring ignorance to the laws of fluid dynamics, gravity, and the human musculoskeletal system. There is obviously no coffee in the cup. When they try to casually slip in something that you just know will be crucial later on in the film. Like someone saying to the hero, "How's that online course in lock picking going?" You know he'll be picking a lock at some point later. Blowing up a grainy picture makes it clearer. People taking their eyes off the road for like 5 seconds. People Googling exactly what's happening to them and getting the answers they're looking for. Happens a lot in scary movies. A house is being haunted by the ghost of a tall man, and the owners Google "tall man ghost" and find exactly the article that explains who the ghost is and what happened to him. How bullets are flying all over and the good guys don't get hit once. Never saying goodbye, or equivalent, when finishing a phone call. They just hang up. Also, making plans with someone without specifying the time and or place. Need a guy out of plot for a little while? Why not just hit him on the head, really hard? Yeah, he'll probably just have a nap and a 10-second headache when he wakes up. Working as a waitress, or some other near minimum wage poverty wage job, and having excessive time off and money and things like huge houses. Rom-coms, not just explaining their motives or actions. Action, thriller, not lying when they have a gun to their head. It's always say nothing or the truth in an interrogation scene. courtroom confessions but also just courtroom scenes in general. First, nobody confesses to a crime while on the witness stand at somebody else's trial. Nobody. Second, have you been to court? It's 97% waiting around, 2% wondering if you have time to go to the bathroom, and 1% anything to do with you or your case. The fight or flight response doesn't seem to exist in horror movies. If I come across a friend's dead body in the woods, my first instinct isn't to investigate the scene. I am getting the fuck out of there and calling the police. Edit, in the context that the presence of a killer is there. Next time you see two characters having a conversation in the front of a car, pay attention to the rearview mirror. More often than not it's been removed, for a cleaner shot of the characters. Oh hey op who I went to college with. As an ethnobiologist from a tough upbringing in the urban center of Chicago, where I kept my nose in the books and stayed out of trouble so I could be the first from my family to go to college, I hate expository dialogue. Whenever someone is working on a vehicle they are quite often using a pipe wrench or huge crescent wrench. Neither are going to get you too far working on a vehicle. In horror movies, when people are being chased in their own house, they run right past the door and into a different part of the house. Like WTF. You just got rid of your chance to save yourself. Also when the killer is shot a million times and keeps on living. Edit, holy shit, thanks for the points! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. I also saw someone in the comments who said, how is every door on Earth locked? And someone who also stated something along the lines of, how do they not have time to open the door when the killer moves at half a mile per hour? And to the people who say they want to defend their house, that's when you run out and call the cops from a neighbor's house. I highly doubt the killer is going to explode your house. If you have kids in the house that you can't get out the door in time, I understand. But take for example one of the Halloween movies, I can't remember which one, a girl had kids with her and still manages to get out the door in time. I like that one because it's more realistic. Walking up to a microphone and it squeals feedback. Always. In reality, that shouldn't happen unless the sound person is a moron. The standard car flips over 5 times and catches on fire in every single fucking time. Vin Diesel walks out unscathed. Any movie where the villain who is beating the shit out of the hero decides to brag or monologue before killing him, which gives the hero enough time for a sneak attack or for somebody else to intervene. People with long hair, often women, fighting with their hair down. Asterisk has a 10-course meal right in front of them. Asterisk grabs strawberry, honey, I gotta run. Quote, how it takes less than a week to develop a vaccine for a global pandemic and by a brilliant scientist who was kicked out of their institution for being too radical. How mature the high school students look. Have you ever looked at a high school yearbook? Complete lack of legal consequences. I need to kill the time-traveling baddie by stealing this cop's gun and knocking him out. Yay, I succeeded. What? You mean I am now under arrest for multiple felonies including murder and assaulting a police officer? In most sitcoms or series, how come nobody works? They sit around at the coffee shop all day, or they're at each other's apartments or out on some crazy excursion. And they always have more than enough money, except Joey. He's always broke. Lol. Asterisk getting a parking spot right in front of the address in a big city. Asterisk falling 15 feet and then catching yourself by one hand on a tiny protrusion. Asterisk a character just enters the house and starts talking, even when the scene is in an interior room. No doorbell, no getting the door. Asterisk adults walking around in elementary school without being questioned or accosted by staff. Nobody seems to need to use the bathroom frequently or even eat food over long periods of time. Fuckers who yank out their IVs tugged on mine once and I fucking cried. Women shipwrecked wearing sleeveless tops and not having underarm hair. Women waking up and going to sleep with a full face of makeup. When people slice the palm of their hand open for a drop of blood. That shit will take forever to heal. Just prick your finger, damn. Everyone has breakfast together before heading off to work, school to get an early start, and the level of sunlight outside indicates it's about 1:35 p.m. Edit, holy crap. This blew up. Thanks everyone. Attorneys pacing around during a trial and attorneys approaching the judge, without asking. My personal favorite is when a new, damning piece of evidence or witnesses is presented in the middle of trial to the complete surprise of the opposing party. Like sorry buddy, but discovery deadline was a month ago. You should know this. That autistic kids are either dumb as fuck or they're like the next step in evolution. Grip strength. People hanging off of anything, one-handed, for long times. Holding on to other people, pulling themselves up. General population can't do a pull-up. Translating an ancient text but then it still rhymes.